G'day, it's Jamie and welcome to Where's My Yowie. Today I'm reading a couple of old newspaper reports about a Bunyip sighting and hoax on the Brisbane River at Lowood, Queensland in 1898. So we'll get into it. This first article was published in the Queensland Times, Ipswich Herald and General Advertiser on Tuesday the 6th of September 1898, titled Reported Monster in the Brisbane River, a Great Hoax, from our Lowood correspondent, September 1st. Ever since last flood, rumours have been prevalent that there was some sort of animal of the alligator species in the river here. Several fishing parties have reported being disturbed by the appearance of the monster, demon, or whatever it was, which scared the piscators so much that they retired in much haste and trepidation. Others have said that the animal was seen to come out of the river at night and attack cattle grazing on the bank. One report was to the effect that a calf was, on one occasion, carried bodily into the water and devoured. The monster was described by some who saw it as being something similar to a Newfoundland dog with a ferocious head and large tusks. Others affirmed that it had wings or large fins, and yet resembled an alligator in its motions when on dry land. If it could only be located, it was the determination of numerous residents to destroy the brute. When seen, however, no firearms were in the hands of the surprised beholders. Last Thursday night, a party of possum shooters, when near the river, were surprised to see the monster floating in the river and only too glad of the opportunity of distinguishing themselves by clearing the river of the devourer. They fired 10 shots, which did not prevent the Bunyip from speeding away up the river to the long waterhole opposite Lindeman's cultivation. The monster, having thus been located the night of Friday last, was fixed for a party to effect its destruction. The appointment was made for 5 p.m, and the Vigilance Committee were to assemble at the Lowood School of Arts. About 20 of the residents, armed with guns, together with Constable Fag and others, accordingly met at the trysting place and determined to get to the scene of action with as little delay as possible. A move was made accordingly to the bottom of Mr. Lindeman's paddock on the river bank, and after the party had traversed the bank some half hour or so, one of the scouts reported seeing a dark moving object on the other side of the river on a large log. The object had been scarcely noted when it jumped or dived off the log with considerable noise and splashing, and came towards the party bent on its destruction. As it rapidly and fearlessly approached, some who were rather timid were for firing and scaring the monster off, but the leader of the party counselled them to reserve their fire until a nearer approach of the creature. The right time having arrived, the order was given, and a volley from the party was fired at their approaching object. Another volley was next poured in, with shots at intervals, only a few minutes until the advance of the monster was stayed, and the body seemed to float away upstream. The firing brought quite a crowd of the principal residents on the scene, and a boat was soon manned to follow the carcass of the supposed dead Bunyip. The party in the boat, on nearing the unknown, fired once more and then secured the floating body. Loud cries of, "Have ye got him? Is he dead? Get him to land," etc. were directed to the party in the boat who were hauling aboard the river monster. It was soon found, to the disgust of the slayers, that the Bunyip wore makeup. The skin of a wallaby had been stuffed over an empty wooden case, and an ingenious arrangement of cord fixed so that the demon could be pulled through the water. This was rather a sell for many persons who thought that the behemoth was genuine, and the affair has caused quite a lot of fun. September 4th. The excitement and amusement created by the Bunyip hoax on Friday has not yet subsided, and the sayings of those who were determined to capture the monster caused no end of merriment. There were about 10 men of K Company present, with 40 rounds of ball cartridges, and 20 of the young men around here, 7 with shotguns, while others, on hearing the first volley fired at the river, made haste to the scene of action, bent on having a view of the Leviathan. The excitement was intense. The independent firing continued until the halyards or ropes attached to the creature was cut, and then the boat was manned and the shooters made towards the supposed dying Bunyip. On their near approach, however, the remaining rope was pulled by some unseen operator, and the crew of the boat paused, some saying, "Look out, don't let us get too close, for we do not know what he may do." A hurried consultation resulted in their deciding to let the monster have another volley to make quite sure. The deed was done, and the boatsmen then got near the object of their pursuit and pulled it aboard, when they were surprised to find that the lately terrible monster was, as one remarked, only a bloody box. Those who were before held back, being afraid, now, on hearing that the monster was dead, drew near to the boats, and the surprise of the assembled crowd was very amusing. The Bunyip was on view at the Lowood railway station yesterday. It is about 5 feet long, tail included, with a head like that of a good-sized calf, covered with swan skin, black leather being over its nose. The tail was made of swan skin and grey wallaby skin, and the ears of wallaby skin with wire appliances to keep the ears stiff. The body was simply an old wooden case. At the railway station, on the arrival of the trains, a general move of the passengers made to view the Bunyip, and it is the talk of the whole district. Some say that one resident of the pocket had offered £40 for the capture of the monster that was reported to have been seen in the river some months ago, when the calves were being missed. A report was also rife that the government were willing to give £200 for the monster for the museum, and there were several disputes before the finale as to how these rewards were to be shared by the armed and unarmed hunters of the River Terror. Nothing in the hoax line that has happened here has caused so much laughter for many a year. At the end. Okay, so this final article was also published in the Queensland Times and Ipswich Herald and General Advertiser on Thursday, the 15th of September, 1898, titled Our Lowood Letter, the Bunyip. A well-known fisherman and farmer says that the Bunyip hoax was all very funny, but he is confident that there is something in the river. Yet, as while fishing, he has seen the creature, and it was his opinion that more will be heard of it. Others also aver that the real McKee is still alive and living in the river, and several persons have got their eyes open and mean to capture the monster before long. The end. Oh, that's a pretty interesting story. That I like that. So some say it looked like the Bunyip that they were seeing. Some say it looked like a Newfoundland dog with a ferocious head and large tusks. And then others reckoned it had wings or large fins and looked like an alligator on land. And then some people said they've seen it come out of the river at night and attack grazing cattle on the bank. And one report was that a calf was taken on the bank and carried bodily into the water and devoured. And so it makes you wonder what they were seeing, whether they're seeing like a saltwater crocodile or maybe a seal, like a big leopard seal or something else. And okay, so about the hoax. The hoax was the idea of businessman Carl Lindemann, and it was his idea to have the hoax to, after they were seeing the first Bunyip things, to have tourism in the area. So he got the local bootmaker, Fred Smythe, to make up the fake Bunyip, and Smythe and Lindeman's brother Jack worked the wires or the lines to pull it backwards and forwards. The police constable, Edward Fagg, was in on the joke as well. And then also was in on the joke was musketry champion Lance Corporal Arthur Nunn of the Morton Regiment, also known as K Company. And he was let in because it was his job to convince his commander, Captain Henry Lawson, to distribute guns and ammunition. And just on a little side note, Captain Lawson was also the first school teacher at Lowood State School. And to this day, the Lowood State School's mascot is a Bunyip. All very interesting and a classic way to get tourism to come to your area. Okay, that's it from me. I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.